السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. Oh Allah, teach us what would benefit us and help us benefit from what we learn and increase us in knowledge Ya Rabb al-Alameen. First of all, a very warm welcome to all of you in this exciting session. I respect you all so much for wanting to improve the quality of your life and your relationship. And I'm so excited for today's session because women have been suffering in silence for so long. And the problem many of religious Muslim women face is that due to their haya and due to unavailability of clean learning opportunities, they sometimes miss out on so much that other women might have access to. So today, inshallah, I'm going to rescue those women by the will of Allah. However, there are three categories of women that attend my sessions. The first kind are the women who have victim mentality. They've assumed a victim role that no matter what they do, things are not going to change and everything is bad in life and everything bad happens to them. So those are not the right kind of audience for this session. Then there's another type that's an observer who's just interested to see, okay, what's there in the market, just entering sessions and no intention of acting on them, but just out of curiosity. That is also not my intended audience. And if you're among those two categories, then you could leave this session to leave the space open for more serious learners. Now that this is the third type of women are my target audience because they are not only serious learners, but also they bring results because they apply what they learn immediately. They're here to learn and apply it. So those are perfect because I've seen very good results with them before, alhamdulillah. And those are the ladies that I'm specifically talking to today. First of all, let's have some disclaimers. Now, you're going to be learning some very good tips, inshallah, that if you apply, you're going to have some power in your hands. And I ask you to make your intentions sincere for the sake of Allah, only to achieve noble purposes. Never abuse this position of power, inshallah. Also, non-married ladies, or if there are any men listening to this session, this is not intended for you, so please leave. There are going to be other times and places, but this is not that. So please leave. Whatever you decide to apply from this session, please do istikhara beforehand and consider your particular circumstances, then apply those things, inshallah. Okay, so session overview. Now, we are going to be talking about some big truths, then also some tips that will make your man attached to you, and I mean attached, because if you apply them, he might not want to leave your side, and you might have to encourage him to actually go out and meet his friends and things like that. And also, we are going to talk about specific tips to drive him crazy. And those are two different things. Him wanting to spend time with you, being attached to you, is different to him just wanting, desiring you like crazy. So inshallah, in the coming slides, they might be intertwined a little bit, but these are the general things we are going to talk about in these slides, inshallah. Now, consider Sister Sophia's story. She's a very ambitious young lady. She got married to her dream man and felt over the moon, happy in her honeymoon. And afterwards, she got pregnant, and slowly things started becoming different. What happened is, after she became pregnant, she became a little bit sick, and she started neglecting herself a little bit, and she let herself go. And she started eating for two, and then after having a child, postpartum blues hit her. So physically, she changed a lot, and also mentally, where she was before marriage to after marriage, she's at a very different place. And husband started to be pushed out of her priority list. Well, a priority was her child, obviously, and the house was her priority as well. So the husband started becoming distant because obviously he doesn't want to bother his wife when she's doing a very important job, or she's feeling sick, or she's feeling depressed after postpartum. So he started becoming a bit distant, started withdrawing in himself. And this distant started growing more with co-sleeping, because now even at night they didn't have any opportunities of connecting, maybe cuddling or lying down together. And then after two more children, the husband started feeling very neglected. But obviously he stayed because he was a family man. However, he did pull away emotionally. With time, Sophia started feeling more alone and unappreciated. How can he not appreciate me when I've killed myself for this house, for the child, for the house, and providing him everything, and he's being so unsupportive? However, he was just being distant because he was feeling neglected. Now, in turn, she started becoming bitter and resentful, and this cycle continued. They stayed together because of children, but they became like strangers coexisting just because they have to. After the kids grew older, husband finally decided to divorce her. And after the divorce, she didn't have anything to do. So she found herself a job. And before going on the job, she would put on some makeup and she started taking care of herself. And she became a completely new person. While if she put that effort of taking care of herself during her married years, the outcome might have been a little bit different, right? So this is a very typical story. It's particular about Sophia, but it is a common theme in many households. This happens that women sometimes neglect themselves, let themselves go. First of all, they eat for two in pregnancy, which is not true. You have to just eat for yourself and maybe a little bit extra, like an apple worth extra, not too much extra, because you never want to let yourself go. And even afterwards, you need to put in constant effort to make your husband feel a priority, but that sometimes get left out. Now, we're going to talk about some truths. It is an absolute truth that no man in the world ever marries to live a miserable life. So think about your circumstances. If you are living a miserable life, that is not intended. He did not want to create a miserable household. He didn't want you to be miserable. It all started with the best of intentions. So when you are at this stage, if you're feeling miserable, we're going to pinpoint the reasons. But the reason is not that the man is evil or that the man enjoys inflicting pain and things like that. It is best in each circumstances that you feel hurt or you feel miserable to remember to assume the best intentions on your husband's part. And if you assume automatically, this is a mindset, right? This is a mindset shift. If you start assuming the best about your marriage, about your man, the best of intentions, it is going to show in the way you act and in the way you talk to him. You're going to be saying things like, "My beloved, I know you would never hurt me on purpose." And this situation that happened last night, it was hurtful to me. You're not attacking him and accusing him of hurting you. If you assume the best of intentions on your husband's part, then you're going to be saying things like that. I know that you want the best for us. I know you always want to support me. And this is how I would like to be supported. It is going to show in the way you talk and in the way you act around your husband. And in turn, it's going to impact how he responds to you. One of the most exciting aspects about a second wife to a man is a clean slate, new beginnings. It is so alluring for a man to marry somebody else who doesn't have all these folders of complaints registered against him. Clean, flat, fresh start, no disappointments, no resentments from the years of marriage. So in their 40s, men start thinking of, okay, maybe I should take another wife, experience a different lifestyle, experience a new life. And it is a fact that the same man behaves differently with different women. There was a Syrian man who was married to two different ladies. However, they looked very similar. The only difference was that one of them had her passions, she took care of herself, and the other one was more family oriented, more focused on family, because they were both from the same nationality, similar age group. So what happened is they were both like similar beauty wise, and in the way they talk is also similar. So what was lacking is somebody who presents herself differently to the image he got used to, that the first wife neglecting herself, and then the second wife actually had passions. She had her own interest in life. So a same man can behave differently with different women. So think about your husband now. There are some things that you hate about him. It is very possible that if he took another wife, la qaddar Allah, made that never happens, if he did that, he would be very different with her, and the same issues might not exist with her. It is an Arabic saying that ibnuki ala ma turabbih, that your son will be as you bring him up, wa zawjuki ala ma ta'awidi, and your husband will be as you get him used to. So there are certain things that are, in woman's hand, there are some things that are you're doing that are producing that kind of responses, and if you change your approach, you might get very different results. So in this session, this is our aim, inshallah. If you follow through all the tips that I give you, if you do the inner work, right now we're doing the inner work. We are setting up some mindsets that are going to set you up for success. If you do this all with me, inshallah, this could be a restart of your marriage. This could be a changing point in your marriage, inshallah. A clean slate. Very, very exciting. So let's give him a clean slate. Because men hate confrontation. Makes them feel like a failure. If you're somebody who's always upset and always brings that up one way or the other, if your husband is always feeling blamed for one thing or the other, is always feeling guilty for not doing enough, for letting you down, this has to change. And how is it going to change? You're going to translate his issues with the best of interpretations. And I want you to remember that what you are seeking from your husband is actually in Allah's hand. واعلم أن الأمة اجتمعت على أن ينفعوك بشيء لم ينفعوك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله لك. And know that if every single one in the world, if the whole ummah was gathered to benefit you, they can't do it unless it is written for you by Allah. So know that what you want from your husband, actually he doesn't own it in the first place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala owns it. So first and foremost, what you're seeking from him, ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he will give it to you. It is a rizq. If you are really upset about him not remembering to give you gifts, for example, that's an example, but you could use it in other areas of your life, then know that it is a rizq. How can I get this rizq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And then it is good for you to vent. And I mean, sometimes it is important for you to vent. And I get that there's something really frustrating for you. Your kids did something really horrible. Phone up your friend, phone up your sister, and talk about it and vent. Your husband is not the right person for venting. There's only so much negativity he can take. So vent to Allah, talk to Allah about all of your troubles, all of your problems, and he will inshallah give it to you. Remember the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, that he came to visit his son Ismail alayhi salam after years, and he couldn't meet him. He met his first wife, and the first thing she started doing is she started complaining about her livelihood. And Ibrahim alayhi salam left a message with her to replace her. And Ismail Islam said, you know, my father did tell me to replace you, so I'm going to replace you. So he divorced her and married another woman. And this time, Ibrahim alayhi salam came to visit, and Ismail alayhi salam was not there, coincidentally again. And this time, this lady was full of praises. He's the best husband. Alhamdulillah, Allah has kept us in the best of situations, in the best state. And Ibrahim alayhi salam told his son to keep this wife. And why is that? Because the negativity, the constant complaining, the nagging, it makes the life miserable. No man wants that. No man wants that. There's no peace of mind with that kind of living. So clean slate. Ask your rizq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know that your role as a wife is not to become his mother, rather to become his lover. Right? Ashiqa. Become the lover. This word was very infamous when I was younger. Ashiqa. I thought I'm never going to be Ashiqa. But no, when you're a wife, you're a lover. You're not his mother. So think of Ashiqa. In Urdu, it's called mahbuba. Mahbuba. What would a lover do when your husband is, for example, sitting on the TV? Now, I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, is to sit on the TV the whole time. I've got a question like that before, that my husband sits in the TV the whole time and he neglects me. So I put this here. I'm trying my best to answer all the questions that I got before this session during the slides. And if some remain, then inshallah, we're going to talk about them as well. Okay, so what would a lover do if she sees her lover sitting and watching a TV? She would not take a role of a mother. She would not take care of that everything else, run chores around him. No, she would actually just cozy up next to him. Yeah, she might grab some popcorns as well to create a nice atmosphere, but you know, she's not going to be killing herself, making sure everything else is taken care of. No, she's going to spend time with him. She's going to enjoy his company. What would a lover do if the man she loves spend a lot of time with his friends? So if he comes back home, a wife might start saying things like, "Where were you? I was waiting for you so long. The food is cold." Lover wouldn't do that because she would just be happy to see him there because she wasn't expecting him there in the first place. So if he's there and like she's happy and it shows in her expressions and, "Oh, you are here. My day has brightened up." So when he's there, she welcomes him, and when he's not there, she is not miserable killing herself. She is busy with other things. The role of the mother is to probably nag and set boundaries and correct behaviors, but as a wife, we're not doing that. We're not their mother. So if they're doing something that shouldn't be done, then we need to remember we're not their mother. Yes, there is a way to femininely guide him, influence him, but direct confrontation or nagging is not the way. And remember to always strengthen your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through talking to him. And the lover, it is a role that a wife needs to take, and it's a skill the wife needs to learn how to be a lover, not a mother. Sometimes when couples are living together for a long time, the communication starts wearing off. And you don't know what to talk to him about, what to chat with him. But a lover would be chatting for a very long time. They would be just talking constantly about different things and laughing and having a good time. So if you're struggling in that area, if you're not on a good communicating terms with your husband, there needs to be a certain friendship there for it to be fun. So for that, if you're struggling in that area, then it is a good idea to think of some conversation starters from beforehand and think of everything every day, something to talk to him about, something that is open-ended and could have an element of emotion attached to it. For example, what is one thing that I do that you really like? And he could tell you something and you go, oh, it's interesting. I love this about you so much. And you could talk about that. And you're like, oh, really? I didn't think you like this so much. I mean, I never thought you actually appreciated that about me. Think of communication starters that work for you. What is the moment that you realize you truly loved me? Then you could take a trip down the memory lane of him actually falling in love with you, different aspects, and you could tell him things about that you fell in love with. And this is the gentle feminine influence. When you're telling him things that you actually love about him, love the time he spends with Quran, for example. This is a gentle feminine influence. This is the talk of the lover. And things like, is there anything that's been on your mind lately? So you're going to provide him comfort and support. He could think of sharing something with you, or he could just say things like, nah, everything has been okay. You know, these kind of questions, he might be on edge if in the past you have attacked him, criticized him, or blamed him for some things. Or you've tried to, for example, take over the situation for him, things like that. So if your husband is hesitant to have conversations, think about the possible reasons. Why could it be? Has it always been like that? Because if it's always been like that, if he's like that with everybody and doesn't open or doesn't talk to everybody, that means it's his nature. Then there are other ways to try to get him to open up. But generally, what ends up happening is that in the beginning of the marriage, men do talk freely with their wives, and then on the basis of the feedback they get, like either criticize or negative reaction and things like that, they start putting up tabs on those kind of conversations, and they start just locking them up in their hearts. So to open those locks again, you have to make him feel safe. You have to take the role of a lover rather than the typical role of a wife of criticizing and things like that. Yeah? Okay. Some other examples. Is there anything I can do to make you feel more supported? Because men love to be supported by their wives. Think of Prophet ﷺ when he was scared. The first thing he did was went to Khadija radiallahu anha. Because a gentle, feminine support a wife can give is really charging for men. And another question, if it wasn't going to be an inconvenience to anyone, what would your dream day look like? This is such a typical lover question. You're sitting on the sofa eating popcorn. What's your dream day like? Like, oh, I want to go hiking all day and don't come back unless I absolutely have to. She's contributing to that and just fantasizing about those things. So those are some examples. Now, remember how I said that those women who actually want to change and they're serious learners, now this is going to be the test, inshallah. Now, I want all of you that are here to either look in the mirror or open up your phone cameras and look at yourself. Take in what you really look like right now. Let me know when you're done. Can you repeat that question? The question is to have a good look in the mirror and see how you look right now in this very minute. How do you look in the mirror or in the phone? You look tired, look chic, like a nanny, like a maid. Need my hairbrush. Oh, pretty. I made myself all nice before the session. Allah my Okay, very beautiful and relaxed. Is this the image you want your husband to see? Do you think this is the image that if your husband saw, he would think feminine? He would think attractive? Yes. Okay. Not at all. Kind of. There's room for improvement. Okay. Excellent. So remember, ladies, you're not in competition with anyone in the world except yourself. You've already won the competition. He's chosen you to be his wife among all the ladies in the world. You have won that competition. You are not in competition with any person in the world because you have him, but you're in competition with yourself, whether you're going to keep him or you're going to lose him. Ladies, there is a best version of you, and there is a worst version of you. On the day-to-day life, do you strive to put the best version of you forward? Or are you comfortable staying in your worst state just because you got him? You don't have to put in any effort. Now, remember, ladies, first of all, are you worth the effort? Are you worth it? Are you worth to be loved and to be pampered and to be attracted to? Are you worth feeling feminine? Are you worth some of your time every day? Are you worth that? You need to internalize that you are worth it. You're worth the effort. And more importantly, you're worth the results. You're worth the love and the attraction and the connection that you're going to build after changing some things about yourself. You don't want to be in your worst version. You want to be in your best version in your day-to-day life, especially before your husband comes home, but not limited to when he comes home, because you are worth it in and of yourself. You are worth putting some effort. You are worth looking put together. My niece, Allah Mabarak, every time I look at her, she looks so decorated. Some clips here and there in her hair, dozen of things in her hair, and then some, jewelry here and there. She's worth it, and so are you. You were that person before when you were younger, and you believed you deserve all the time in the world. And you can be that person again. Okay, now here's another activity for you. I want you all to get up. I give you 5 minutes, and there's a timer for you. Change your appearance in 5 minutes. Make yourself worth it. Make yourself worth looking at. Make yourself attractive. Try to achieve the best version of yourself. Here you go, 5 minutes. Let's come back in 5 minutes. Marhaba, welcome back. So now all of you ladies, you must look pretty and you must feel amazing. Tell me in the chat, what did you do and how did it make you feel? How do you look now to yourself? Do you look attractive? One of the ladies is saying, untied my hair a bit and combing. Just slip cut. Alhamdulillah. Many of you were finished even before 5 minutes. I've changed out of pajamas, put a dress on, put a makeup on. Wow, look at you. You did all of that in just 5 minutes. Make a necklace and bangle. My daughter asking, oh my goodness, look at that. I love it. Yeah, I feel pretty, yeah. I've like on a lip gloss. Great, feeling great. Alhamdulillah, there's a difference. Comb my hair and put some makeup. Wow. Changed my clothes and tied my hair properly. I started straightening it and laughed. Oh my goodness. Wow, she started a little bit laughed. Wow, okay, Allah Mubarak. Combing a lip gloss. 5 minutes seems pretty long. Why? So, ladies, look at that. One of you is saying 5 minutes seem pretty long. Now, the purpose of this activity is to show you how you can transform yourself in just 5 minutes. You're worth that time. Just 5 minutes. You can, before your husband comes home, or just in the morning as well. What I prefer personally is to book 5 minute slots. Like when I wake up in the morning, I do something quickly, and then toward the day, little times here and there. One major time is when my husband comes back from work, and the other time is when I am about to go to sleep. So those are 3 day self-care times for me, and it just takes like about 5 minutes, and my self-care is done, and I feel constantly in a maintained state. Hair makes such a big difference. Even if you think your hair is not that amazing, even if you think your hair is probably not the best, letting them down just makes the stark feminine effect to your appearance. It is very feminine to have your hair down because men don't have that. So I do that, and every now and then I just open my hair and put some air in my hair. Maybe I will do a session on hair care as well, because it is a problem for ladies to have thinning hair, especially after childbirth. It's important to take care of your hair and do small massages in your hair throughout the day. It's going to keep your hair healthy. All right. I always think it's such an effort to get ready, but this activity has shown me it doesn't take long. Exactly. That's the whole point. And you are worth that, and your husband is worth that. Okay, let's move on. Self-care is bare minimum. What you did just now I mean, some of you even put on makeup on. I feel like makeup is for occasions or not an everyday thing, especially because of sometimes it can cause some negative reactions to your skin. But if your skin is not that sensitive, it's good to have makeup on as well before your husband comes from work. What I consider like self-care, to look fresh, to look put together, to look presentable, to look like you can walk into a gathering of women and feel confident, not feel like, oh, I need to fix something about myself. This is how you should be at home as well. This is bare minimum. It is like salah. Your salah, you've got 5 prayers that are wajib. You cannot let go of those. And then there's some that are nawafil, or there's like witr that are optional. So your self-care is bare minimum. Your hygiene, your self-care is bare minimum. And then comes the icing on the cake that we're going to talk about in the coming slides, inshallah. Some of that is optional, like putting on makeup and stuff, and some of that is just going to transform your life, inshallah. Now, here's the truth about men. Men are attracted to successful women. Men are attracted to successful women. Strong and feminine. Take pride in who you are, what you're like, what your passions are like. Think about, what is your big goal in life? What are you passionate about? Or what were you passionate about before marriage? Has any element of you, any part of you that was alive before marriage, is this still continuing in the marriage? Many times what happens is women, when they get married, thinking, and it's not a bad thinking in and of itself, but it has a negative impact. And that thinking is sometimes they are fed to think that they have to change themselves completely after marriage for their husband and for their in-laws. They have to completely be flexible and take on their qualities and be part of their family. And that is kind of mentality that sometimes women lose who they were, what they were passionate about. And in the process, they lose the person their husband actually fell in love with. They lose that person the husband was actually attracted to. He wants a different world to submerge himself in. He's seen his family, he's grown up in that, and that's a world, that's his world. But he also wants his wife's world. He wants his wife to have her own identity, her own passions. There was this lady who was so passionate about reading, and the husband was not passionate about reading, so he would just tease her about that. And that lady, she loved reading so much, she was so passionate about that, and sometimes what she would do is she would get herself some drink, a piece of chocolate to enjoy while reading. Sometimes she would lit up some candles, and slowly the husband stopped teasing and actually wanted to join his wife in her world and started reading with her as well, because she created a beautiful environment around reading. And it happens with us as well. Imagine seeing an artist drawing something on the wall, and she expertly mixing colors and putting some nice things on the canvas. People are naturally drawn to her. You would find that some girls have gathered around her just watching and observing. I used to do that as well, just stand there and watch, because passionate people draw us in. We are drawn to people with passions because we are naturally inclined to want to see what they have and what's that world. So it happens to us, and it certainly happens to men. When they see that their wife has her own passions, her own life, this is something that they get drawn towards. So don't let yourself go. Now, I want you to think very hard and clear about what is your passion in life. What is one thing that you want to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with? Now, in our day-to-day life, I want you ladies to work on your oxytocin levels. This is the hormone that's going to keep you happy and bonded and in love with your husband. Dopamine is the hormone that's released when something is thrilling and exciting and new. But it wears off. Oxytocin is the love hormone, and it comes when you hug or you love your partner, when you do things that makes you happy. That gets the oxytocin going. It builds strong bonds. If you have a lot of oxytocin, you are a happy person. This is the mawadda And rahmah, Allah talks about in the Quran, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. It's oxytocin. So work on your oxytocin. How are you going to increase your oxytocin? First of all, like we talked about, you're going to work on your interests. You're going to do some workouts. You're going to share a meal. This is a bonding experience that's going to release some oxytocin. You listen to beautiful voices of Qur'an, of Quran recitations, of different riwayat. There's some riwayat that I listen to and I just go, oh, this. And also like beautiful sounds of people as well. When they're doing poetry, for example, when they're like doing nasheeds, for example, it releases oxytocin. And also meeting friends releases oxytocin. Massages and hugs, these all really release oxytocin. Why is a mother so attached and bonded with her newborn? Because the newborn, when the newborn suckles, a lot of oxytocin releases. That's the love and connection the mother feels. So oxytocin is going to increase your bond and your love. Now, I want you to think of your happiness as a garden. Your happiness is a garden. And oxytocin releasing activities, things that bring you happiness, are your flower pots or your flower beds, whatever you want to call it. I want each of you to write down right now in your notepad. You don't even have to tell me what they are. You can just tell me the number. How many things are in your life that bring you happiness? Write them down for me now. Don't write the things, write the number. Take a moment to think to yourself, what are the things that bring me happiness? Just write them down. Quran, exercise, things that you enjoy, things that you're interested in. Write them down and tell me the number of flower pots in your garden. Allahumma barik. One of you said she has 5. That's a good number. That's now there are the things that if you feel upset about, you can go to and do one of those and get your oxytocin going. And one of you said 13. Did you have a time to actually count all 13 interests? Allahu Barik. That's an amazing number. Your garden is something that I actually want to walk in. Said it's 13, 12. Allahumma barik. That's amazing. And one of you said infinite. I mean, if that's actually true, then that means you're always happy because your garden is so rich. Okay, maybe 1 or 2. That's on the lower side. That means your poor garden is barren. It is crying for attention. So you need to increase that. You need to increase the number of activities you could do during the day to bring some oxytocin in your life. Too many to count. Allah Mubarak. Okay. That's either true or it's either a little bit lazy to count. If you've got rich gardens, then that's amazing. If you don't have rich gardens, then we're going to work on putting more flower pots in our gardens of happiness to keep us happy. And that's going to bring such a good result in our relationship and married life, inshallah. There's a light bulb moment for me that I want to share with you. Is that something I learned? Now, sometimes, what happens after a while, women start thinking that their libido is gone. They've got no chemistry. They're actually not craving intimacy with their husbands. And that is actually not true because most women have responsive libido. What does that mean? That means the man's libido is there, like it's not responsive. They actually have original libido in them. However, women's libido, or most women have responsive libido. What that means is that it gets activated once she feels attracted and appreciated and some foreplay happens. That's when the libido gets activated. That was a light bulb moment because most women are there thinking that in their married life that they don't have that feeling anymore. That means that they don't need the relationship anymore. They don't need the intimacy anymore. Initially, it might be hard, but after a while, it becomes really interesting because the libido gets activated. They've got responsive libido. So next time you think, oh, the chemistry is gone and I'm not feeling attracted to my husband anymore, That's not true. Just remember, you've got a responsive libido. So, in order to activate it, some things need to happen. For example, you to feel attractive, for you to work on yourself. So, for example, you're putting your lingeries on, you're taking care of yourself. You're feeling like you're worth it. You feel like you could walk out among a group of ladies and not feel like you need to do anything because you're so well presented. When you're in that state, you are naturally feeling more happy, and you naturally have more oxytocin, more relationship inclined, more intimacy inclined that way. And if you're not taking care of yourself, then that's a bit of put off for yourself first and foremost. Because even if your husband wants to initiate that responsive libido in you, you feel like, maybe I should have a shower first, or maybe I should do something or the other. It's a big turn off. Women have responsive libido, so no, your relationship is fine. You just have to find the right keys for your body. Another thing that jazzes up your relationship is unpredictability, some mystery, because predictable is boring. If your husband knows that you're going to wake up in the morning and do this, and at night when he comes from work, you're exactly going to sit on this sofa and exactly put your hand like this, and you're exactly going to do this at this minute. If you're too predictable, that's not good for religion. That's boring. But there has to be some element of surprise, some mystery, some promises, some hidden connotations, some flirtations here and there. That is what's unpredictable. That's what men live for. So this is your activity. Think of things that your husband just depends on. Okay, this is very predictable. My wife, every breakfast, she's going to feed me this. Change it up. This breakfast, give him something different. I mean, it should be something he likes ideally, but something different. Or my wife, every morning that she wakes up, she does exactly this. Now, this time, what you wake up, maybe you run your fingers through his hair and wake him very gently with you. So do something different. I want you to think of the predictable behaviors that you've adopted, change them up a little bit, add some mystery to your life, keep him on your toes. Like, okay, what's going to happen next? What's the new thing that's going to happen in our life? This mystery keeps the excitement in the relationship. Also, this is a very good rule. Do something different with your body at least once every month. So once a month, maybe you get a new haircut, maybe you get a new hairstyle, maybe a new pair of clothes, a new accessory that you wear differently. And there's some other accessories that we're going to talk about, like body accessories as well, that you can put on and that are mostly hidden, but there's a hint here and there that drives men crazy. Anyway, so do something different at least once a month. There are some magical words that you can say to your husband, and he'll die for you. These are magical words that are going to put your man at ease, and all the built up years of resentment and closing up, he's going to start coming out of his shell if you use these words on daily basis. Words like, you are right. I didn't realize this. You were so right. Especially while you're apologizing, because there has to be an element that your husband was right about. So, for example, you were fighting about something, and you go, "Yeah, you were right about this," and then you might end up saying, "But I still don't agree with this part of what he and there." Words like, "You are a source of security for me. Alhamdulillah, when you're around, I feel so safe. I feel so at peace when you're around, knowing that everything will be just all right." Things like, my life gets so much simple when you're around, when you're with me, knowing I'm in a good hands. If he feels trusted, and if he feels trusted, then he's going to trust you as well. And men love to hear words like, I'm proud of you. You've done this so well. I'm so proud of you. And also, every now and then, or probably on a daily basis, say something with the phrase I love while focusing on a different aspect of his body or his personality. I love your hairstyle today. Or I love how you walk, for example. You look so confident. And also, this is a very wise thing to say to your husband as a woman. You're the only person to truly enter my heart.
Now, you might think to yourself, oh, that's not true. I actually love my mom a lot more, my sister a lot more. But this is not a time for complete honesty. Remember, ladies, in the matters of love, professing your love, it is okay to exaggerate. There's a hadith that says it's okay to exaggerate and lie a little bit. So tell him you are the only person to truly enter my heart. And this is especially true with jealous husbands, and also true with women who actually had a previous husband. They've married again. There's some element of insecurity there in the man's heart that she might love the other one more. And this just puts them at peace. You were the only person who truly entered my heart. And also, it's a good phrase to say on a daily basis. I feel there is chemistry between us. Either say it with your words or with your gestures. And mean it when you say it, right? So I'm proud of you. Don't say it when you're actually bitter about something, right? Or saying things like, I feel at peace when I'm around you, while at the same time you're just acting very anxious. These are some magical words that you should be using on daily basis. Mix and match, choose, and introduce some variation of that in your daily life. Men are very simple creatures. Men are very simple in the way Allah has created them. The way they're programmed, especially when it comes to their marriage, they only need two things. Whenever they think of a home, home is a place that provides for them safety, comfort, and also it's a means for them to have their intimate needs met. So those are two things. So when it comes to his relationship with you, his programming is very simple. And in terms of what he finds attractive, now this is going to be a bit of open conversations. It needs to happen, inshallah. It needs to happen. It's going to be so immensely beneficial to you. Once you understand how a man's mind works, you're going to be able to use it for your own good, right? And you'll be able to excite him and elicit the response that you want from him. Man's brain is wired to think about your female private organ, right? That is his happy place. Anything that reminds him of that area is going to be very exciting for him. This is the art of seduction. This is the crux or the essence of seduction. Anything that reminds him, for example, let me give you an example. Your lips. Why are men attracted to lips? Because it reminds them of some other lips that they anticipate to be juicy and wet. The haircut, for example, what is the best haircut? Your haircut, if it's in V shape, for example, if it's open, if your hair is dangling on your body, in your back, and it's V shaped, it's pointing towards that area, it's very seductive. Your underwear, the V shape of that underwear, it shows through your clothes that you're wearing on top. That is insanely attractive. Like immediately, his eyes are going to be drawn towards that V shape. Very attractive. So men are programmed. They're very simple. Once you understand them, you'll be able to become insanely seductive and attractive to him. Now, let's talk about the other lips that we were talking about before. Let's talk all about the hygiene and the cleanliness and everything. Okay, first of all, does it matter how your female organ looks or how it feels? Does it matter? It matters a great deal, because if everything in a man's brain is programmed to think of that place, then when he actually reaches that place, he doesn't find it that attractive in terms of how it feels. Like there's some hair there. Now, the feel of it should be soft. It should be smooth and silky. It should feel smooth and silky. And it should smell nice. Ladies, now I want you, the next time you remove your underwears, to have a sniff and see what it actually smells like. This is the only way you know. And there are things that you can do to influence that. Now, first of all, we're going to talk about the health and hygiene, because the first step in them in your organ to smell nice is to actually have a good hygiene. So I'm not going to be very elaborate in this, but just generally, you know that to keep the area dry. Because if the area is moist, you come out of your bathroom and you don't dry yourself, that is a breeding ground. The moist and warm environment is the best suitable environment for bacteria to grow. So you have to keep it dry. Keep specific tissues in your bathroom for this purpose. One time use, after using the toilet, washing yourself, use the tissue papers, throw them in the bin, come out all dry and clean. And also, for this particular part, I will tell you that do not directly use any perfumed objects on it. However, in the insides of your leg, the joint that's between your leg and your organ, you need to put something over there, some very light, like mist, very gentle, maybe essential oil, like a drop or two, that just gently rub it in that area. The next time, if he's close to that part, it smells amazing to him. Many times what happens after giving birth, that your area changes a lot. Doesn't remain as strong, as firm as it was before having children. And it does matter in reaching the ultimate pleasure. There are things that can be done about that. But men often feel shy to tell their wives that there's something wrong. They don't feel comfortable. They don't want to embarrass their wives because it's not their fault, right? But however, the intimate life does suffer a little bit. So how do you know that they have a problem? Because either your husband might be less interested, or it's taking you longer and longer to reach his climax. Now, it could be other elements as well, like the pressures from work and stuff, but it could be that there might be a problem. And generally, maybe have a look as well in the mirror and see how it feels like, how it looks like, and how it feels like to you. Does it feel firm to you or not? And there are things that can be done. So first of all, if there is genuine deformity in that area, that can be fixed through surgery. So it's a corrective procedure. It's not a beauty procedure that's considered haram. It's a corrective procedure. So that is allowed. So get that done. However, I want to warn you about the beauty stitch. What is that beauty stitch? Sometimes it's called the husband stitch. What happens is after women give birth, and if there is any tear, sometimes they're getting stitched up. Then the midwife or the nurse or the doctor might say, okay, I'm putting in an extra stitch for you to be firm and tight. Or sometimes even husband put in that request to put in that extra stitch for me. And this is horrible. It's useless. Okay, first of all, let me tell you that I'm not a specialist, but I did a lot of research in this area. So take what I'm telling you with a grain of salt. But this is useless. It has no use. It is going to be uncomfortable for you the next time he's trying to enter you. It's going to be very uncomfortable for you. And it's not going to give him an increased pleasure, because the pleasure happens at the topmost area, and that area is already going to be inside, right? So what does matter is the overall lining of your vagina, the overall lining. That is a muscle, right? And it can be trained, it can be corrected, it can be firmed. So if that is firmly toned up, that is what's going to give you most pleasure, not the opening. The inside of how it feels on the inside is what's going to give him the most pleasure. So the additional stage is useless for the husbands. It's uncomfortable for you. What you can do, if there is any deformity, you can get it fixed, right? But if there is no deformity, but just general looseness of the area, do Kegels. Ladies, Kegels are your best friends. You should be doing it on daily basis. Not only it makes your organ tight and firm, it also makes childbirth easy because of how strong that muscle is grown. It also gives you more pleasure during the encounter. It is a fact that the stronger your pelvic floor is, the stronger your orgasms are going to be. So Kegels, learn them. There's so many different types of Kegels. Learn them on the internet. Work on them, and do your Kegels. And when your area is firm and toned, you need to be careful about your hygiene and how it smells nice there. Another thing that you can do for the smell part is also think of the foods that you're eating, the spices you're putting in your body. The different spices have different impact. And if you have a very spicy food, that does have an unpleasant smell, not only down there, but also your sweat would start smelling differently. If you have clean, nutritious foods, then it would smell differently. So if you're eating like ginger or peppermint, or if you're eating, for example, a little bit of pineapple juice. However, I'm not very sure about the science of the pineapple juice. So you do your research and inshallah see what's best for you. But however, know that there is some slight variations in how you smell in your sweat and in your bodily odors. Okay. Now, once we have done all the inside work and we have corrected how we look and how we feel and how our body feels, we are going to be moving towards some strategies to make him more attracted to you. Those are your womanly powers. We are going to start using them. This is more relationship oriented now. Now, the first thing you're going to do to get him attached to you is the beginnings. Fix your beginnings. There's a lady who sent me a question that when you get so tired from all the work and stuff, how do you give time to your husband after you come from work when you're already tired? And there are some other questions along the line of it can't be always pleasant when I'm with my kids and can't create the right atmosphere, which is very true. So what you're going to do is to master the art of the beginnings. Fix your beginnings, and this is going to be memorable for him. It's going to be the most important thing, inshallah, going to be transformative. Remember the hadith of Prophet ﷺ says, the qualities of the best of women is إِذَا نَظَرَ إِلَيْهَا سَرَّتْهُ. When he looks at her, it brings him joy. He becomes happy. سَرَّتْهُ, like joy that comes from inside. You are his happy place. And how are you going to be his happy place? And you can also test that. The next time your husband comes home from work, or the next time he looks at you in the morning or whatever, the first time he sees you, how does he react? Does he have a smile on his face when he looks at you? Every time if your husband looks at you, you can't reach it every single time, but most of the time that he looks at you, he gets a smile on his face, he gets a relaxed expression. You know that you're doing your job really well. How are you going to do that? The art of beginnings. First times that he sees you, what does he see? He sees a smile, he sees you, a well put together. So the first time he lays eyes on you, he's happy. You are attractive to him, and you are smiling. And then even after like 5-10 minutes, you need to discipline the kids or run errands around and look like a witch with your open hair everywhere. It is not going to matter to him as much as the first time that he lays eyes on you. The first time he hears you. Work on your tone, ladies. The first time he hears you need to be soft. Habibi, my beloved. Has to be calm and soft. Women have two kind of pleasure: to be admired or to feel attractive. That's a feminine pleasure, and then a pleasure in the bedroom. But men have so many pleasures. For them is the pleasure of eyes, pleasure of ears. Like he actually can stay in the state of pleasure through different things. So for example, the pleasure of his ears is that when he hears you, if he hears a feminine voice, excites him. It stirs his feelings. Gentle, soft tone. Some dialects naturally have that inbuilt in them. They have some certain type of prolonging of some vowels. So, yeah, think of melodious. Think of when you wake up in the morning, your voice comes out soft. So, that soft voice, the first time he hears you, remember, beginnings are very important. Softest voices. When you call him, when you want him to come and help you with something, he's not there, soft voice. The first time you answer his call, the first hello, salam alaikum has to be very soft. You know, even 10 minutes later, you have to be upset with him or angry with him. He's going to remember the next time he wants to call you. Oh my gosh, he's going to get so excited to hear your voice again. Also, the first things he smells is the smell of food in your clothes or the nice, clean smells from you. And also, at this point, I would like to remind about the oral hygiene. There's so many ways you can keep your mouth fresh. Now, if you have an odor in your mouth, is it coming from your teeth, from your mouth, or from your tummy? All of those have different approaches, right? So pinpoint the root cause and then work on that. I know some ladies who chew gums, especially to have minty breath for their husbands. Throughout the day, they're chewing gums. Now, this is something the dentists don't recommend. What I would recommend is having a piece of, I know it's in Arabic, it's hail, but I forgot what's in English. And if you know what hail is in English? Cardamom, Allahumma barik. Yes, so chew some seeds of cardamom every now and then. There's some ladies that got this distinct oral smell. That's the sound that smells nice when you talk to them. They smell nice. So, for example, there's yansun, there's cardamom that you can chew on, a piece of cinnamon, anything. You could even chew on the leaves of mint, right? Scholars recommend cloves too. Yes, chew clove, Allahumma barik. Such good recommendations from all of you. These are the ways you can maintain your oral hygiene. And if you're into eating gum, there's actually a way to eat gum specifically for husband. Because even the way you eat gum could be very seductive for him to watch, to look at. But it shouldn't be the noisy gum eating type, but it's the seductive eating with some periodic blowing of bubbles. So double benefit. It's going to have so much enjoyment, so much pleasure looking at you. Okay, now we're going to talk about perfume. Now, these are the things that are really going to want him to come right to you, to miss you, and to be with you, and to be attracted and to attach to you. Now, let's talk about pheromones. Pheromones are your signature scent, if you will. Like your fingerprints. You've got fingerprints. Everybody has a fingerprint. Now, those fingerprints are never the same in any other person. They're your unique fingerprints. So pheromones are like that, but in the world of scent. And your pheromones are unique to you. You could probably tell that if you've got multiple kids, if you smell them each separately, there's distinct scent that differentiates each of them. I can differentiate my kids based on if my eyes are closed and just kissed on their head, for example, pheromones. I could differentiate them. Those are distinct smells. They're not good nor bad, just distinct, right? The different people have different pheromones. So that's why it's important when you buy some perfume, some itar, to see how it smells after using it, after putting it on you for some time, because it might smell differently than you actually thought it would smell like. Now, this tip, this is so powerful that Prophet ﷺ forbade women to go out with perfumes on them because of what it does to men. Women are strictly forbidden to go out. In some hadith, it's considered adultery. I remember hadith says that a woman who does that, who specifically puts perfume on herself and goes out, she comes back and she needs to take a ghusl like she had an intercourse because of the strong impact. It stirs emotions in them. It makes them feel aroused. If a woman is walking by a man, then the air blows and he could sniff her, he's going to be in a whole different world in his mind. Similarly with his wife. So the clever tip with perfume is to have a signature perfume that's associated with you. And I recommend two consistent perfumes, one daytime perfume, one nighttime perfume. And now you could switch them up every few months. However, the daytime perfume should be something that's easily available in your everyday life. So in your atmosphere around you, if you're living in a country with got lots of flowers, for a specific type of flowers, for example, then you get essential oils related to that flower. You get perfumes that got that scent. The idea is every time he goes outside, he's around those things, he's going to remember you because you're imprinted on him with that perfume, with that scent. So he's going to think of you. So you're going to start imprinting him on some of your perfume. Don't keep switching perfume like anything. No, because perfume's got power and use that power well. So A daytime perfume is something that is going to be, even when he's away from you, that thing is commonly available for him, so he might think of you. Think of bukhur, for example, right? If you're in some country like Saudi, your husband might be going to a lot of Saudi majalis, and if he associated bukhur with you, he's going to think of you each time he's in that gathering, even when he's like among men, subconsciously. Those are another thing he's going to have control over. He's going to associate, he's going to have those nice feelings, and he's going to be remembering you subconsciously, not even knowing what happened. So those are the daytime perfumes. Then there are nighttime perfumes. Now those nighttime perfumes are more on the exciting and spectrum. So there are some perfumes that are sold specifically for those purposes. They would even have names like, I don't want to say those things, but you would know that those are for those purposes. So those nighttime perfumes, the idea is those are supposed to be associated with your body or with your lingeries, with your nightwear. And to know if the perfume is really working, if he's imprinted on that specific perfume, it should be mild. It shouldn't be too strong. Otherwise, it's going to be putting off, right? So get like mild and gentle feminine perfumes for the night. And after 6 weeks of usage, you're going to test that during the day. One day during the day, you're going to put that perfume on in the daytime, on the weekend, for example, and just come sit next to him and see his reaction. Is he starting to get excited? If he is, then know that he's imprinted on that perfume. So now you've got those powers within you. So if he's imprinted on that perfume, he might be imprinted on the daytime perfume as well. So you would know that those perfumes are working. And you could get him imprinted on other perfumes as well. So after 6 months or every so often, if you want to switch up your perfume, the idea is not to switch them every month, right? That's too quick for him to be imprinted and to associate those perfumes with you. So this is the gentle power of perfumes. Now, another thing that's going to make him want to spend time with you and be with you all the time is creating a beautiful environment. Men crave coming home to beautiful moments, giggling of children, happy wife, put together, the calm environment. I know if you have smaller kids, it's impossible to achieve that, especially in every area of the house. So you could have a messy room and you could have a clean room. And each time your husband comes from work, you're inviting him, you are presented, you did the 5-minute routine we did in the beginning of the session, you're well presented, and the room that you're going to bring him in is clean, and that place is his happy and safe place. Now, ladies, sometimes your husband spends a long time in the bathroom because that is the safety place for him. That's the place he started associating safety and comfort with. And the way to change that is to give him a relaxing environment. I advocate for men having a man cave as well in the house. The area, it could be a corner, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be fancy, but just an area that they know that nobody's going to enter, that nobody can bother them in, and they can spend some time in there in calm and quiet and recharge. Sometimes they spend some time in their cars. The car can be their happy place or their cave. So men need that because of the real world out there. They face so many challenges out there that when they think of the home, that they just want calmness and happiness in there. And men can't create that environment for themselves. Women have to create that environment. So there is a calm environment and then there's a beautiful environment. So the man cave is calm and safe place, and then there's a beautiful environment for him to come home to laughter and giggling, and to there could be sometimes crying as well, but kids are crying, that's okay, as long as you're happy and put together. It's going to start wanting to come back home to be with all of you. Now, let me tell you, we're talking about men's mentality. There are certain type of women that men dream of. Men dream these things in their life. Men dream of women who make them feel wanted. What does that entail? Making them feel wanted entails initiating sometimes, flirting with them at times, verbalizing it at times. Men crave women who make them feel respected. Know if your man doesn't have those things in the house, that he's going to try and find them somewhere else. Because that's a craving in them. They want respect. Men really want their women to make them feel respected. That means never talking to them rudely or shouting at them. If you're upset, excuse yourself. Drop the conversation at that time. Respect yourself and your relationship enough to walk away from a certain moment, because they're just going to be damaging. So men crave to feel respected. Men love to feel admired. Find something about him that you admire. Find something about his body that you admire. Find a muscle somewhere. If he's a man, he is going to have a muscle in his body that you could admire, like, oh, your calf muscles look so toned, or any muscle in his body. Pick a muscle. This muscle looks so defined right now. Men love to have muscles. Not all of them can have it, but if there's any muscle buried somewhere under a fat, try to find it and admire that. Okay. Men dream of women who can be submissive at times. Now, let me paint a scenario in your head. Think of a 5-star restaurant that you went to, and you had such a quality service. You enjoyed the restaurant, enjoyed the meal. At the end of the day, the server came, and to present the bill on the table, they bowed a little bit with disrespect. I've seen that in some places. They bow a little bit, they put that down, and very respectfully back off. That is why, because that works. That works with men. Want something from them, this strategy works. So they love that kind of submissiveness. It makes them feel like king, makes them want to give. So next time you're giving him a glass of water, try to practice this submissive technique while presenting in a tray, for example, and he looks at in your eyes, just in a shy way and in a submissive way, just look toward the floor. Now, I don't advocate for bowing, because we're not supposed to do that for anybody except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what I do advocate is that same, the feeling being conveyed in your gestures. So your eyes should downward glance, like with a little bit of smile, because you are not like embarrassed or anything. You're just submissive, right? Like an obedient server or obedient servant, right? So sometimes do that as well. Switch it up, mix and match, pick up. Don't do everything you're learning at once, ladies. So all these tips, if you keep switching and keep changing, you can try something new every now and then. Keeps them on their toes. And also, men love women that can comfort them in difficult times. Think about Khadija radiallahu anha, of how she comforted Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his most difficult time. So each time your husband is feeling under stress, always say positive things around him. Allah will take care of us. Everything will be okay, inshallah, because we put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I've been making du'as for you, and inshallah, I've got a very positive feeling things are going to turn out just fine. Anything that he's worried about or stressed about, uplift him. Your role is to support and uplift as a woman. Okay, now we are going to go towards more things, more tips that is going to drive him crazy. But before that, we're going to take a little bit of pause, and we're going to talk about Al-Qawarir, what we do here, and how you can support us, inshallah. So our mission at Al-Qawarir is to help women become better wives, mothers, and homemakers. It is my passion to help, and alhamdulillah, I've helped hundreds of women so far, and my passion to reach thousands and even millions of Muslim ladies to impact their life positively in some way. Alhamdulillah, and I love doing that. And I would like for you to become a part of it, to support us. And there are so many ways you can support us. First of all, you could share the WhatsApp group with ladies that you know that might be interested, might benefit from this. So share it with them. And also support the YouTube channel by subscribing or following or liking or commenting as well. These are all the things that tells YouTube that this video is worth sending to a similar audience, similar Muslim ladies, for example. Muslim ladies are the ones that are watching these because I specifically mentioned in my channel and in my videos that's for ladies only. YouTube knows, okay, to recommend that to other Muslim ladies that might benefit from it. So somewhere in Africa, some woman might be really in need of this video, and you're going to be helping me reach them, inshallah. And if you know somebody who's obtained Islamic education, or if you are somebody who's obtained Islamic education and you are from Ahl Sunnah al Jama'ah, then this is a platform for you. I'd love to welcome you, be part of my team, and inshallah, I would give you a platform to inshallah learn and grow and help you in that way as well. And these are some of the links. We've got our WhatsApp community channel. That is a channel, is a place where your phone numbers are not going to be shared with anybody, just going to be for announcements. So if you want more a quiet group that keeps you updated with all the activities at Al Qawarir, then this is the channel for you. And then this is also the YouTube channel link. Inshallah, I'm going to be sending it in the groups as well. And also I want to tell you about this upcoming exciting opportunity. It is going to be in Derby and is going to be meeting you all in person, inshallah. If any of you is in UK and you can come, please do register, because there's going to be so much exciting things in there. I mean, you've seen my excitement throughout these slides. I love teaching women these things. And there's going to be talk about femininity, and there's so many things. When I was preparing for these slides, I had to leave so many things out just because we don't have enough time for it. Even now, I feel like we're kind of running out of time. So there are going to be 3 different talks. There's going to be talk about femininity, about your marriage and how to improve that, and also specific session for brides to be. Tips for the brides. This is something I've never talked about before, and I've got so much to share with you. So if you are in UK, do register and do sign up in this WhatsApp group. Inshallah, I will send it in the group later on. There's an upcoming journal about how to choose a right spouse. It's going to be for brides to be. And it is going to be your constant companion. It's going to have activities and tips for you. It is really a mini booklet, but it's also got a lot of activity, a lot of thought-provoking things for you to participate in. For example, the red flags that you might have seen as potential spouse, things like that. So stay tuned for that. And soon, inshallah, is going to be pushed in the group. Now we are going to talk about some flirting and how to flirt with your man. Remember, we said that men love to feel needed or wanted. Now, flirting is in that alleyway. We're going to talk about that, inshallah, but first, we are going to take 3 minutes of break because I realize it's been a long time with me, inshallah. After 3 minutes, we're going to be back again, and we're going to talk about some real tips that is going to drive him crazy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. I hope you did something refreshing in the break. You've maybe walked a little bit or had a sip of something, inshallah. Okay, now let me hide this timer and talk about, we're going to talk about flirting, right? So flirting, first of all, send him some teasing messages, some hint in the morning that I've got a special surprise for you at night. It could be a special piece of laundry if you bought a special piece of laundry anyway. So surprise him with it. Or when he's walking, maybe just smack him on his bum. I know this is naughty. Don't do it in front of your kids. But keep those things alive. Those are the things that are going to spice up your relationship. And say things like, I can't keep my hands off of you, while you're seductively touching his arm. Doesn't have to be any specific place, just even touching his arm and just like, I can feel some muscles. Also, gentle massages while you're sitting with him. The whole time that you're with him, the whole time you're spending time with him, think of lover, right? Like the analogy we said in the beginning of the session, you are the lover. So the whole time you're there, you're either playing with his hair or your hands are moving, right? You're doing something with your hand. And you're either like maybe massaging his hand for him a little bit because he's used the computer so much. The shoulders, men love the massages on the shoulder. I remember the beginning of the marriage, I started to massage my husband, but I did it a bit too rough. He got put off. So I thought my husband was a bit different. He doesn't like massages. But his, I was just bad at it, right? So don't hurt him. Massage him. And gently, maybe look up some strategies online, some techniques on how to massage. So the back area, the upper shoulders, men carry a lot of tension because of their physical nature of the work, or even if they're working on the computer the whole day, they just love to be massaged in their shoulder and neck area. And in terms of flirting, dirty talk. Now, some people think, okay, dirty talk is horrible just because the word dirty is in it. That means pious Muslim ladies should be far away from this. Now, dirty talk per se is anything that is intimate in nature, like sexual in nature. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be dirty, right? It doesn't have to be mean words. It doesn't have to be horrible words. But the rough talk, sometimes, and you will be able to elicit this from your husband as well, once you open that door. Sometimes, for some men, it drives them crazy. This whole dirty talk, it just drives them wild. It could be anything sexual nature, like something like, your bum looks so tight, or something, I don't know, just make something up. So defined, for example, right? That's dirty talk. Or just describing what you would want to do to him, for example, when it's just touch your body, run my hands on you, on your arm, and on your body. That's dirty talk. And some men prefer more aggressive type of dirty talk. And you are going to be, so once you open the door, then you're going to be able to elicit that from your husband and know that only if you feel comfortable, right? Only if you feel comfortable, because I wouldn't want you to say things that are like very vulgar that you don't feel comfortable with. But if you're just generally describing your body part, some men find that very exciting. There's so many words for your organ, right? So sometimes men find it really exciting to use different kind of words for him, for his organ, for your organ, and those things are going to drive him crazy. So dirty talk, you can send him dirty messages, you can send him messages that would pique his curiosity. All of those things are going to keep him still and not wait to be with you. Now, here is the epitome of seduction. Now, everything we've been doing so far is leading up to this. These are some specific tips that you can do and you can apply, inshallah. Now, like we said, that everything in the man's brain is geared towards that happy place. But the happy place itself is not that seductive. What I mean by that is, men are hunters by nature. Men like to strive. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى is to strive. Men, they love to strive. So if they find something very easily in front of them, just open and a free meal, they wouldn't want that. They want to work for it. And they want to be teased about it. They want to go hungry for some time and starve for it, as in like a whole day you're just doing hints here and there. By night they're crazy wild. That's the meal they're going to enjoy the most. So don't show your aura, keep it covered. However, have hints of it here and there. How are you going to put hints of nakedness? Is by wearing clothes that have like slit in the legs area, for example. And if you're going to be wearing something that's got a slit in the legs area, then put some oil or something shimmery. There's some glow or lotions or shimmer glitter lotions that are specifically designed to give you that glow that men die for. Because the glowing thing makes you look healthy and reminds them of the moistness and wetness of other parts that they really long to be. So if you're going to wear something that's like open in the front, then make sure you're like look nice, look presentable, and also a cleverly placed tattoos, for example. Play with that. So what I mean by tattoos is not the haram kind, rather the removable tattoos. So what you can do is, if you're wearing short skirt or short jeans, then just hide it a little bit, but also peeking a little bit. So in your leg, for example, in the back area and back of your leg, just right where your skirt ends or just where your jeans end, you're going to be placing a tattoo cleverly in a way that it peeks out as you're walking, or is half hidden or half peaked. Now that is going to grab his attention and remind him of his happy place. That is going to be very seductive for him. And legs are seductive to him because obviously they lead to the happy place. And then also body jewelry. Henna gives the same effect as tattoos, but also henna can be very beautifying. So there are some certain types of henna, for example, the black henna. If you use it on your feet regularly, on your toenails regularly, it start feeling like you've got pedicured feet the whole time. Because some men really admire how the foot look. They find it very attractive. So ankle bracelet. Try to wear that one day. Try to wear other body jewelry. Now the trick with that is, if it's half hidden, it is very exciting. For example, if you got waist beads or some waist jewelry, and your husband came home from work, even on top of your regular clothes, you gave him a hug and he could feel that jewelry inside. That's very exciting. If, for example, you're wearing a necklace that's a little bit long, but rather than keeping it all outside, if you put it inside in the way that it's reaching your bra on the inside, all he can see is two glittering lines that are pointing down. Very exciting for him. Very seductive. So body jewelry, there's so many things you can play with. You could try putting like the belly ring, for example. Even if you got a bit of a tummy, he's not going to look at your tummy. It's going to make your tummy look attractive. So there's something different. There's something attractive. And then you can get something like that's the upper part of leg. It's also got a jewelry. I don't know what it's called now. So there's a jewelry for specifically designed for the upper part of your leg. So when you're walking, you could see that or you could feel that. Or especially if you're wearing clothes that are like a little bit, they've got a slit in them, and you could see the jewelry in your thigh area. Oh my God, that is very seductive. Also, for the same reason, men find ripped jeans that are ripped in the thigh area and that area. They're ripped in the right places. Find it because they've got hints of nakedness, not complete nakedness. So they have to use their imagination. Wherever they have to use their imagination is going to make them very aroused and make you look so much more attractive to them. So, like we said, side openings, oils and glitters are your friend. They give you, especially when you're wearing lingerie or you're wearing seductive clothes, then even if you don't have a glitter lotion or anything like that, glitter is very nice, especially if you got the atmosphere for it, the nice lightning, right? The nice, the yellow. Try your best not to have white lights in your bedroom, because white light, they're not flattering. So you've got romantic lights, yellow lights, some other tone. That's romantic. It's automatically, it kind of hides your insecurities. Automatically it does that. But also on top of that, if you got something glittery and shimmery, that is very attractive. So on top of that, another suggestion is wet hair look. What is a wet hair look? Is the look that you just come out of shower and try to let your husband enjoy those moments as well, because before you have intimate relationship, before you have intimate encounter, if you quickly pop in the shower and just have a wet hair, and then you come out with towel around your breast and down, right? That is a very seductive look because it also gives them hints of nakedness, because they know you're naked and the towel can drop at any time, so they can get to have their happy place. But at the same time, it's not dropping down now, so they're working for it. Their imagination is working them all up. And they're also, and the wet look also gives them the impression that, okay, you are going to be nice, smelling nice, you're going to be clean and fresh. And on the top of that, also there's an element of, oh, she might have shaved down there because she showered, right? So the feeling of the softness of it, very exciting. And it's not wrong to use body shapers with your clothes. So think of what your man likes. Each man would find something different to be attractive in a woman's body. So some man would like the bum area more, some like breast area more, some like foot, some like leg, anything. Some like waist more. So whatever your man likes, Try to enhance that. How are you going to do that? It's not wrong to use the body shapers. There are things that you can use to enhance your look from the back. For example, the push-up jeans, or the things that go maybe extra padding in the bum area. If your man is the type who gets attracted to the bum area more, enhance that. And you're gonna think that, okay, when he will know when I take it off, he'll know that it was there. It doesn't matter by that time. By that time, his imagination has gotten him worked up so much. Even when he knows that it's all, there's an element of fakeness in it, like added breast padding and stuff, it wouldn't matter then. Because it wouldn't matter then, because at that time he is beyond that point. He's not like noticing those things. The magic is done, basically. Not the time to reap the rewards of it. So to master the art of how to work with your body, you can get push-up bras to enhance your breast area. You can get so many different things. There is a comment over here. The beautiful stomach bead belt worn on the skin are beautiful. They are also a way to be accountable to not gain too much weight. Yes, I've heard of this culture. So my friend is from Nigeria. She told me that she first introduced me to the waist beads. So she said, this is worn for Mary Lady. She actually gave me some as a wedding gift. And at that time, I was like, what's the point of it? Nobody's going to see it. But it is for the husband. And it also keeps you accountable to not gain too much weight. Very clever. That's a very clever tip. And did I tell you the clever places to put tattoos on? Put tattoos or stickers or maybe beads or some creative art, whatever, like the body art, gluey things, whatever, that's shiny and shimmery. Or the tattoos, if they're tattoos, then try to get the black ones, because it gives a very good contrast. But don't get too small. If you get tattoos that are too small, it might look like a bruise and not exciting. If you get big enough and for him to feel that it's something, that it's a design, that is effort been put here, and that's very exciting. So good places might be upper back, or might be your buttocks, and also anywhere that it could hide some and appear some, hide some, appear some. This back and forth hide and seek, very exciting. Sometimes what you can do is you can give him a striptease in the bedroom where you put on too many clothes on, and you put, but they have to look nice. For example, you're putting a very beautiful dress on, or like evening gown type of thing. You're giving him his dream day, for example, and you put that on. Underneath that, you should have at least like 5-6 different pieces that you can take off one by one. One by one. So you're having like maybe socks. Oh my gosh, the socks as well. If you feel like your feet and your legs are not that attractive, the socks are your best friend. There's socks that are skin colored, then there are socks that are black. Oh, very exciting. They hide all of the imperfections and make your leg look perfect. Make your leg look like a model leg. So put some socks on, the thin long socks that make your skin shine through. Put those on, put some underwear, put a piece of lingerie on top, put some bras and things like that. Maybe have a scarf as well, that when you're taking your gown off, you're cleverly just like beautifully putting it around yourself. And then later it's like the scarf becomes like a robe that he gets to see other things. So when you're in initial stages of arousal, of excitement, don't take off all of your clothes at once. Never take off. Just keep things hiding, right? Keep something hiding, something visible, something hiding. At some point, have your breast naked, but the other parts of your body covered, for example. So, like, mix and match. And never go for complete nakedness. Complete nakedness is not attractive nor seductive. A very easy access is also not that exciting, right? Not something, yeah, it will do, but it's not something that is going to drive him crazy for you. I wrote this. Remember that most dopamine is released before eating the chocolate. So when the thrill is happening before the act itself, so much dopamine is getting released and thrilling and excitement that is going to start associating so much pleasures with you, that you're going to become the person he's going to think of each time he's excited. SubhanAllah, some women live like, if a man is excited or aroused, even if he's aroused, he wouldn't think of his woman, either because she's not available, because she doesn't look that attractive. So apply all those tips and keep the dopamine going. And Most pleasure is in teasing and the tease leading up to the main act. All right, I'm going to take questions, and these are the ones that I got when I said that I'm going to be giving you priority. So I got these questions. One of you is saying that how to talk lovingly to your husband if you're not wired like that, not lovey-dovey kind of person, you're not used to it. So how to talk lovingly to your husband? Like I said, master the art of beginnings. It's all about how you start your talk. Phrase that very well. Your tone, what you're going to say. And for the rest of the talk, you don't have to be extremely lovey-dovey. However, it would be helpful to have some prompts ready for you to use. So make a list of things that come naturally to you that are lovey-dovey, might be a little bit out of your comfort zone, but if you say that enough time that it will be comfortable for you and him, it is nice. And the most growth happens when you push your boundaries a little bit. So try to push your boundary a little bit, try to become a little bit uncomfortable, introduce more things, and you're going to be a lovey-dovey wife, inshallah. Okay. How to groom and get ready for husband, because at the end of the day, even by the eve, you are dead tired. Yes, I think I covered that in the session itself, is also in the art of beginnings, and also how you can create a one place that's happy for him, inshallah. Getting ready, we established it only takes 5 minutes, like many of you demonstrated. Most of you were ready even before 5 minutes. Okay, how to overcome shyness, and do husbands think bad about their wife if she ever initiates things? Oh my God, no. Husbands don't feel that bad about their wife if they initiate things. It makes them feel desired. In the beginning of the marriage, when you are a bride, then don't be too courageous. Don't be too open. Don't be too, what is it called? Don't be too bold, because a lot of bride's beauty is in her shyness. And if you're a bride, then I would suggest that to not initiate more, make him feel desired in other ways. And also, does husband think bad about their wife? On the contrary, men fear marrying a religious, pious Muslim lady, but who's going to be bad in bed. Men only think bad if their wives are seductive outside of the house. But if they're seductive only inside the house, they love it. That's what they live for. Okay. Yeah, how to overcome shyness. Yes, inshallah, it's a step-by-step process. I feel like this is a question from a newly married, I think. So, how to overcome shyness, inshallah, with time is going to happen. With time, you don't have to completely overcome it, but just take small steps towards the right directions, towards making him feel wanted, making him feel desired, and being attractive. Your job as a wife, most of the time, is to be attractive, right? And to be chased, to be worked for. Okay. Do men want their wives to have absolutely no body hair? About hair on your back and stomach? From far, it's not visible. If someone comes close, then it is visible. Does that put them off? So about the body hair, well, unfortunately, because of the media, because of all the celebrities and because of the magazines and stuff, women are always portrayed with no body hair. And I know a person who was shocked to see some arm hair on his wife. He thought that women actually didn't grow hair. He thought that women come without hair. SubhanAllah, this is a programming has happened where the body hair is associated with men and not associated with femininity. So in this day and time, I would tell you to, yes, try your best to remove all your body hair. However, it does depend on your husband as well. So it differs from a person to person. Because I also know a lady who started removing her body hair after she got married. So her husband saw her one day working so hard to remove her body hair, to use the halal, it's called, wax. And he saw the pain expressions. And he told her, stop it, what are you doing? I don't really care about your hair. I like you for however Allah created you. And I know it's a natural, normal part of a woman's body. So you don't have to remove that. But I find you really attractive without removing your hair. And those examples are very rare. Most men do find women more feminine if they don't have any body hair. So it's going to be depending on your husband. So you have to evaluate your situation accordingly, inshallah. So we've answered those questions. Now let me see if we got any from the YouTube. Okay, YouTube got no questions. Let me see, got any on Zoom, inshallah. How can you wear revealing tight clothes for husband throughout the day when you have kids at home? So you can't wear them throughout the day if you have kids at home. That's the fact. But that's why it's important to prioritize having quality time with your husband that's just between you and him. You either do that by sleep training your kids, making them sleep in a different room, or even if in the same room, they have to be in a separate cot. Your bed, if it moves, doesn't wake them up. And if the kid is like above 2 years, I recommend not keeping them in the same room, because no matter how discreet you are, they might wake up at night and they might see things that they're not supposed to see. And from 2 years, I think we should start building up some boundaries around this area. So in the intimate time, no kids should be around there. And when the sister asked about how to have time when you have kids around, you have to make time. You have to find ways. For example, your husband can come home from work early one day to spend some time with you when the kids are at school, for example. So you have to consider your circumstances. These things can be planned in advance. It doesn't kill the romance of it, doesn't kill it. Many ladies think that it should happen spontaneously, and that way it never happens. No, it doesn't have to have spontaneously. It should be planned. That way you're mentally prepared. He's making time for it. You're both there and you're both having fun and connecting and producing lots of oxytocin that's going to give you mawadda and rahma. Okay. To what extent can one show affection to one husband in front of kids? My husband doesn't allow us to touch each other, nor sit very close to each other in the presence of the kids. I feel like that's extreme, because that way kids will not have any positive influence in front of them. They would think that this is how couples are supposed to be. And it is okay to show affection, to hug, because you also hug your kids, right? Don't you? So the kind of love that you can show your kids, you can show to your husband as well. You can sit with him, you can massage his hands, you can take his hand in your hand, you can feed him with your hand. There is a specific hadith that is sadaqah. There is a thawab for a man who does that for his wife. So any kind of affection you can show your kids, you can show your husband as well in front of them. Okay, I think after many years, 20 plus, emotional connection is gone due to a lot of problems. How to get emotional connection back? That is such a good question. You are asking a question of how to get oxytocin running in your body. Now, we spoke about oxytocin, and many times the tip is about creating fun memories together, pleasurable memories together. Now, think of your mind as a camera, right? That's capturing moments. Now, capture as many moments and save as many moments in your mind as possible. So what you're going to do is share an experience together that you're going to have fun, you're going to laugh. For example, like one day I remember my kids were running. And he's like, Mama, come run with me. Mama, come run with me. I was like, no, I don't want to run. I don't feel like running. And I was like, okay, sharing their happiness, being a good mother, whatever, just having fun with them. So I started running around in circles, just running around in circles. Me and my kids were running around in circles. After some time, I saw my husband, he came and joined us in running around circles because the kids were laughing so much. We were having so much fun. Just create memories together. Create pleasurable, connective. Remember how Prophet ﷺ used to run, have races with Aisha radiallahu anha. Those are all memories. Capture them. Capture as many memories. If you give yourself a lot of pleasurable memories, going to build up a big portfolio, a big storage of oxytocin that's going to make you feel so much connected. Okay. I have a question that what can I do and how can I excite my husband because we are living different countries? What can I do for him? Now, for that, if you're living in different countries, what you can do for your husband is there's many things you can do. Just because you're in a different country doesn't mean the connection has to die. So there are things that you can do. Also, there are some sisters who are in a similar situation can also give you some tips. Sisters, if you have any tips, if you are living long distance, then please do type them below because I think all of this is going to be helpful. However, I also live with my husband long distance, so I have some experience in that as well. What you're going to do is you are going to have to try to make time for each other on daily basis. And when you're going to talk, remember the beginnings, have nice beginnings. So the first time he sees you, the first time he hears you, has to be really nice and beautiful. Has to be really something he's going to want to come back to. And then think of some nice moment, something to tell him that's happy. And wait, and this is the tip you can do. This is a trick you can do. Tell him something happy, but really enjoy telling him that and laugh. So he sees that you're enjoying telling the story. So he is going to enjoy the whole experience of you being so happy. Of you being so happy and telling him a story. It might make him laugh as well. Even if he didn't laugh, remember, he is going to enjoy that. And he's going to want to repeat that because a wife in his mind is a place of comfort and happiness. So he's going to want to come back to that beginnings, and then also make time for each other every single day. Try your best, fix a time, even if it's just to say hello to kids. See you, say hello to kids, just say generally one or two things and then end the call. But there has to be consistent because the fact is, marriage requires consistent, everyday work. No marriage is going to flourish without putting consistent work every single day. Okay. The first step is to intentionally want it. So these are the tips that sisters are giving. If the husband is living long distance, emotional connection, romance, important. Not all romantic. Emotional connection is important. Okay, so please give a tip on perfume if you need to go out of the house 5 to 6 times a day. That's a lot of time. What I suggest is being very careful not to put anything on your clothes or your abaya. Just put on your body and have the perfume that's not too strong to penetrate through your clothes and get out. This is my tip for you. However, this kind of thinking in women, I'm not talking about you, sister, who's posed this question. I'm just talking about the general things that I noticed among women. Sometimes what they do is they build their life around the practicality of having to get out. And so some women say, okay, I don't wear niqab on. That's why I'm never going to put makeup on because I need to be able to get out of my house. That is a very wrong thinking. Well, you're not going to deny your husband of the pleasure just because you have to get out. Just wash your face and then get out, right? Even if you're putting perfume in your clothes and you need to get out, you can change your clothes just as easily and get out. Have a special abaya for getting out that, is thick clothes and not perfumed. So that abaya, when you put it on you, even if you have light perfume on your body, is not going to escape it. So yes, we're going to think about the practicality, but also know your priorities. So you're not just going to not put maybe coil in your eyes for the rest of your life just because you need to go out. Or you need to sometimes women don't want to have any intimate relation just because of the discomfort of having to take a shower afterwards. It's a very wrong kind of mentality to build your life around this because you need to know your priorities. Okay. Right. I think we covered most of the questions that we could cover. Barakallahu feekum. We are going to end this session here. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.